Welcome, you ARES operators. For you people who love the VZ.58 that just came out, as you know, it's all new and proprietary. However, there is probably some mods that we probably still can do with this particular AEG. And like I expressed earlier, I don't expect us to be able to modify the air nozzle and the hop-up unit, so that'll be a compression issue a little bit. But given that it's shooting, this one's shooting roughly 338 on 20 gram BBs, you might have pretty good compression, but we'll see when we open it up. The mods I have are probably pretty typical of what I do with my AEGs. Since it's going to be a CQB gun mainly, I'm going to use the Matrix Sonic 5000 high-speed motor because it's the 18:1 gear ratio gun. Short barreled also, so definitely limited to CQB. I like my favorite drop-in bucking, the Reaps bucking. This is a 60-degree one. I'm going to change out the head to a SHS head. I've been having good results with it with ARES guns. And for the barrel, I always liked Matrix barrels. They seem to do pretty well for me. This one's a 208 millimeter inner barrel. And we're going to change out to a Matrix M100 spring, but we'll see how it fires before we decide on which springs we really want. So let's hop to it and see how this gun performs with this type of mods. Alright, so I took down the gearbox and the hop-up unit out of the VZ.58 body. Just a couple of things to note. You have to take the gearbox out before you could take out the hop-up unit. Another thing is the gearbox is only held in 5 places. It's held by the trigger pin up front and by the grip screws, 4 of them. So only 5 areas that you have to unscrew to get it out. Just be careful the mag catch area because it holds the mag release and also the upper receiver or the bolt, kind of the bolt carrier catch, the fake bolt carrier catch. How do you say, holding button. So just remember, take that pin out very slowly so the springs don't come out flipping out and everything. So let's open up this gearbox and see what we can modify. I opened up the hop-up unit, and just to take a look, I just measured the stock barrel, and the stock barrel did come out a little bit over 7 3/4 of an inch. It's a slightly bigger, so I do believe it's 200 millimeter. Looking at the type bore size by eye, it's a little bit hard, but definitely I believe it's probably a 605 barrel. And given that I was shooting 338 FPS, I'd say that's pretty good airtight seal it had. Looking at the hop-up unit, I could understand for you people who's been playing with the hop-up unit, wondering why you have to adjust it so high for getting it to hop up to work. Actually, it's the hop-up unit, actually, let me see if I could get it on camera. You really don't have that much adjustment to play with. It's very small. It's a very small adjustment, so I only could see like a couple millimeters of adjustment. That's why I kept thinking on top of my head, boy, it takes a lot to adjust up the hop-up. Like I said, you only got like 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter at best to play with, so that could answer the question why it takes so much adjustment to get a hop-up. And definitely made of plastic. Trying to get the bucking out. Looks like the whole unit's pretty well made, even though it's plastic. I could see why it has a pretty good air seal with the hop-up unit. So I could see it's nice. The bucking is nice and tight in there. So, and plus a good. Looks like it's a pretty decent brass barrel. Like I said, it's a 605 200 millimeter. So I could see that's the reason. Like I said, having a pretty good air seal. But I figured like ARES, like all ARES guns, this air nozzle probably lacks an O-ring. So you're probably losing a little bit of accuracy in about roughly 20 FPS. So, like I said, I'll replace it with the Prometheus 208 millimeter inner barrel. This is a 603, and I'll be putting in a 60-degree Reaps bucking and see how it does. All right, so I put together the hop-up unit. I changed out to a Reaps 60-degree bucking and put in a new 208 millimeter stainless steel barrel from E-Vike. It's a 603 Type 4. Just one thing to be aware of the hop-up unit. Sometimes the dial comes up loose, so use a screwdriver and tighten it up, and it'll straighten out the bucking, so it'll line up straight. Actually, your bucking nub. You'll line up the bucking nub straight. So just be aware of that. Keep it tight. Continuing on, disassembling the gearbox. Just took down the spring. Feels like pretty close to an M100 or an M110 spring. So definitely it's not that stiff of a spring. The stock spring guide looks like it's from a regular ARES version 2 gearbox. So definitely looks like you don't have to go through getting those Amoeba series aftermarket spring guides that you see with the pink coloring. Those ball bearing plastic spring guides that ARES sell, or at eHobby, which they sell, it's roughly about $12, and it looks like it will work. I haven't tried it, so it's just a pure guess. That's if you really want a ball bearing and increase your FPS, probably a good 5
right,
FPS.
so
it looks like the bevel and the sector gear is shimmed pretty well, but one thing I'm starting to notice is it seems like the spur gear, the bearings are going in and out a little bit, so it's telling me that looks like the shimming may be a little bit too too tight, so it's kind of pushing the bearing in and out. I don't know until I open up this gearbox. It's a little bit foreign to me, not quite the typical M4, but it looks like the G36 of the old ones you see.